Hello, hello. Come ahead, no? Come ahead. If you become IS officer, you cannot sit there. You have to propose, sit in the front. Come ahead, seats are vacant. AC is also effective. Be mindful of your head and camera also. Dhamma, itra. Itra. Come ahead. This. Yeah. Sit, sit. Good evening, all. How many sessions you have attended since morning? 2, 3, 4. Huh? Finally, optional still remains a big confusion. Huh? No problem. The confusion will continue for some more days, but by the time we start, it will finish. Okay? See, optional decision. Fan ఆపేయండి ఏసీ నడుస్తుంది కదా. The optional decision is actually a tough decision to take because this is the only choice UPSC has given us to do in the entire UPSC structure of the exam. Optional is the only choice. Okay. How many of you are planning to join the June batch? June batch, maximum of you. Okay, good. See, listen to me carefully. The purpose of today's session is primarily to guide you the right way of preparing for UPSC exam. Actually, what motivates me to take this session is when I counsel you, when you come to the institute for the first time, I've seen most of the students writing in their counseling sheet first attempt to first year. Okay, ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్లో అయిపోవాలి సార్, ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్లోనే అయిపోవాలి సార్, ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంక్ వచ్చేయాలి సార్. So this is a wrong notion of UPSC preparation. You can get first rank, you can get in first attempt, but it may not be possible to get in 1 year only. Okay, because I generally tell my students, UPSC exam is not about knowledge. It is about analyzing the knowledge that comes to you from the classroom. The knowledge part is over in 9 months. Okay, but you will take another 8 to 10 months to analyze this information, which takes time. Okay, so understand why it takes 18 months to 24 months to prepare for UPSC, because the analysis will eat your time. మన డిగ్రీలో కూడా అంతంతే చదువులు కాబట్టి, ఇంగ్లీష్ కూడా అంతంతే వచ్చి కాబట్టి, మాట్లాడడం రాయడం అంతంతే వచ్చి కాబట్టి, ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ అనదర్ 8 to 10 months after your foundation. Understand this. I am not belittling your graduation or something. We are all victims of same learning process. I have also learned. See, can anybody tell me what is civil service? What is civil service? Can anybody tell me what is civil service? Let me see how much knowledge you have related to civil service. What is civil service? I want somebody to answer this question. What is civil service? Civilian service. Very good. Aak pak, kare pak. Out of the box answer is good. Claps for good. The answer is simple. Any service which is not military in nature is civil service. It means any service which is not a military service is what service? So if you are not wearing uniform going to fight for the country on the border, you are doing civil service. Any service where military dimension of functioning is not involved, it is called a, that is the definition. It is not my own invention. This is how the government has defined the civil service. So I am not defining. Now, having understood any service which is not a military service is civil service, why is the government? See, we all whatever history thoda bahut we have studied in our school, you remember that this civil service was there during the Britishers also. Britishers covenanted civil services, right? When we became independent, the question is why we continue to have civil service. You took freedom from the Britishers to have your own systems of governance in place. No, you will be surprised to know our favorite freedom fighter, Sardar Patel, was initially vehemently opposed to civil services because he said they are elitist, they have elitism as a trait. Sorry, elitist. Elitist. What is elitist? Is a person who feels that he belongs to some higher royal family or something like that. Everything has gone from civil services, but elitism has not gone. It is still there. That's why you see, no, an IPS officer gets down the car wearing a Ray-Ban, an ASI saluting him, he's not even looking at him. It does not happen in the army. Even if a Jawan is saluting you, you are duty bound to return that salute. Otherwise, it will be considered to be a punishable offense for an officer not to return the respect that a Jawan has given me. But it is not so in the police. So he is creating a elitism that I am deserving this salute and you are duty bound to salute me and I have no responsibility or compulsion to return that salute. So for these reasons, many of the freedom fighters, including Sardar Patel, were against civil service. It is only when India became independent, they understood we can change them to some extent. With the training, with little amount of training, we can change them. But now what happens is, understand this. There is something known as British legacy. This word we use, no? British legacy. అరే ఇంగ్లీష్ వాడు వెళ్ళిపోయాడు సారీ వదిలేసిపోయాడు సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ బ్రిటిష్ లెగసీస్ ఇన్ ద బ్రిటిష్ లెగసీ దట్ వీ టుక్ వీ హ్యావ్ కెప్ట్ ఎలిటిజం అలైవ్ టు సమ్ ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఈవెన్ ఇందిరా గాంధీ coined a term called, you will be surprised to know, she says, I don't want bureaucracy alone, I want a committed bureaucracy. Why she used the word committed? Because she felt bureaucrats are not committed for what purpose they have been chosen. So when I ask you a question, why is the government continuing civil service? The answer is here and the answer is given by him only. And what answer he gave? He told very clearly, I need because it facilitates relationship between center and the province. That is, province is basically here a state. The relationship between center and the state ensures certain type of uniformity across the country in governing the people. Certain kind of uniformity. See, you still use a word district collector, no? What is the role of a collector in British time? To collect the revenue from the farmers. Yes or no? Agriculture, you have made it tax free. Why are you continuing with that designation? The appointment name was district collector because he or she were primarily responsible to timely collect revenue from the agricultural produce and all. But are we taxing agriculture in today's context? No. But we have still continued to keep the nomenclature as district collector only because it is a British legacy. We have never thought of changing it. So it is continuing. One good fellow will come, he will come and change. So now it is basically Sardar Patel said we would need them to maintain uniformity. And uniformity in what? How a district should be run. For that purpose, say for example, if AP has a different structure, Telangana has a different structure, what it will lead to? Gap in governance. If AP is doing good, Telangana is doing bad, all the farmers will agitate. So if you have uniformity across the country, nobody can raise their voice. So that was the purpose. Keep the central administration in touch with the ground reality. Very very important function. ये direct question आएगा mains में. What is the purpose for which, if somebody is an optee of public administration, this is a question. The purpose of bureaucracy in India, and it says keeping the central administration informed of the ground level reality. అసలు గ్రౌండ్ లో రైతుకు ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటి, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రాబ్లం దట్ ఎ ఫార్మర్ is facing? To understand the central government, you need an IAS officer. See, understand, an IAS officer or an IPS officer is the representative of the center in the state. You may be allotted a state as the cadre, but you are a representative of the central government. That is why you can be called for deputation to the central government based on the state's requirement, not denying that. So maintaining ground reality, ensure higher levels of goals. What is this goal? Higher level of goal in what? Higher level of goal in what? Very very important. Governance. This is an unending task. See, what do you understand by the word govern? To rule in some or the other way. Say for example, you have a class tomorrow morning, say 8 o'clock. You every day you are coming at 8:30 and disturbing the class in the middle. So I have to control you. Okay, Baba, Sirisha, come on time, or from my side, don't come. If you come tomorrow late, this is the punishment being awarded to you. So you have to govern them. For governing, you need bureaucracy. This is what Patel is saying. And lastly, free from communal and polity bars. See, there is a trait or a quality that a bureaucrat has to display as a foundational value. What is that value? Anybody? What is that value? As a foundational value, a bureaucrat has to display. What is that foundational value? Where you do not go closer to party, any political party. It is called non-partisanship. Non-partisanship. You remember in Telangana, when the state assembly elections counting day, the election still counting was going on, and the DGP went and met the CM designate. He was still not appointed as the CM, and the election commission took offense of it, and it said it could create a sense of some inequality or malpractice in the entire election process, and he was immediately taken off from the DGP's appointment. See, for an IPS officer to become the DGP of a state is the ultimate goal. One mistake that he could not wait till the evening, and in the morning 10:30 went and landed in front of the CM. So this kind of zero tolerance would be there if you try to show that you are going closer to any political party. So when understand why I am talking in the first class all this is, you have to learn them from the day one of your preparation. Okay, I cannot go and sit in the lap of a political party. I cannot extend political favors. I cannot extend any religious favors, communal lines. So the reason why the government continues to what you call have, see, there is a very big lobby against civil service. That lobby says these civil service servants have not done justice to the country. This is what they say. And that lobby says they have become too elitist and they are not performing the role for which they have been designed to. So there is a very big lobby that tries to tell the government to do away with civil service. So this you need to understand as a student of civil service. आपसे इंटरव्यू में सवाल पूछेंगे, मी तो इंटरव्यू लो क्वेश्चन अडुताరు. Don't you think this services has to be done away with? In fact, many European countries, they have outsourced the job of administration. Civic administration has been outsourced, and they are doing exceptionally well. Especially if you go to country like Germany, you go to France, they have outsourced. America, for that matter, you leave aside other countries. America itself has removed this. So time and again, you will always hear that there are a lot of calls to do away with civil services. Okay, we don't want this. So if all of this is going on, so you should be aware how to defend your existence. Why in a country like India, the continuation of civil services to ensure proper governance is a must. Last में word add करेगा discuss लिखो. So understand why bureaucracy in India is needed for performing a particular role, and what is that role over a period of time you will learn. Okay? Can it be outsourced in India? Think nowadays we hear this term too often, no? Very often we hear this term, no? Lateral entries. बीच में in 2012 one exam was conducted only for IPS. UPSC conducted this exam. The name of the exam was Limited Competitive Examination, where they allowed defense officers who serve the country for 5-10 years, they retire and come back. They were made eligible. In some states, there is direct DSP appointment. DSPs with 5+ years of service were made eligible to write, and the examination was conducted also. Examination conducted, results announced. After announcing the result, the Supreme Court, through lot of joining hands with the center, it cancelled the entire administrative process, the examination process, because the bureaucracy did not allow any lateral entry. Because they told, what was the premise? They took, you will laugh. In the Supreme, because the government also did not support, because 2012 means Congress. By the time it went to Supreme Court and all, it became 2014. The Congress changed and BJP came. The moment opposition party comes, obviously the previous efforts will go down the drain. So that because it was an initiation of the Congress, that was the only reason this limited competitive examination was done away with. This was the brainchild of Chidambaram. He is known to be the Chanakya of Congress. Okay? So Chidambaram said it was properly based on a survey report that we need around 2000 IPS officers to fill the gap of law and order administration, and we need to bring some lateral entries from the armed forces, DSP rank officers by writing an exam and all. But because there is so much of objection from the main bureaucracy, finally this lateral entry was done away with. So understand, there is a lobby that is fighting against you. So you have to prove to them that we are good administrators. So you have a moral responsibility also. Okay? Now, before you start your UPSC preparation, and if in fact in the process, if you do not get answer to this question, then it is a waste. Because if you do not know why you are doing this, then you are wasting my time and your time. Definitely your time is more important than my time also. But if you do not know this why in UPSC, you will never pass UPSC. This why can be anything. It can be a job also. I want to get a job which is more stable. Nobody can tell me to leave this job. Fine. Okay. Now bureaucracy is not pensionable. I hope you are aware. There is no pension. It is called, what you have is NPS, new pension scheme. Google about it when you go back home. Question आएगा अगले साल in economics. New pension scheme. Okay. If you do not have a why, your presence is bad. Anybody who does not know the structure of UPSC exam? Anybody sitting here who wants me to tell the structure at this stage of your preparation? Anyone? All of you are clear? Primarily UPSCs are 3-staged examination. First stage is prelims, second stage is mains, and the third stage is your personality test. You have two papers, GS paper 1 and GS paper 2 called CSAT. Prelims, as we all know, it is only qualifying in nature. If you cross, you pass. Now prelims happened now 3-4 days before. What is the cutoff people are expecting in paper 1? People are, somebody is saying 85, somebody is saying 90, somebody is saying 95, somebody is also saying 100. Okay, so based on that, and GS paper 2, that is CSAT, the cutoff is very clear. It is 67. Mains, how many papers are there? Total 9 papers are there in the mains examination. It is a subjective exam. Prelims is objective and mains is subjective, and personality test is for 275 marks. Very, very important. This can make you or break you. Tomorrow Dharani is coming, no? Tomorrow Dharani is coming. She got 820 marks in her mains. If she would have got 200, 10, top 15, 20 minimum, and instead of this, she got injustice to her. Trust me, she is definitely 200 plus candidate, because I have personally mentored her, interviewed her so many times. Definitely deserved. History optional student. She'll come tomorrow. She will talk with you. Understand how weak performance or weak assessment can break you like this. So from maybe 10 to 15th rank, what she finally landed in, because she is from OBC, she may get IAS. May nahi, she would get IAS. So understand how important it is to score in all the facets of your examination, especially the general category students. Very, very important. This is what will make you or break you. So understand these dimensions well. Okay? Now, this was a trend how the marks were going in UPSC. Last year prelims cutoff was 75, but now the trend will again go like this. Changing UPSC prelims pattern you need to analyze. Again, I am telling you, 3 stages of UPSC preparation. If you do not analyze, you will never win in UPSC. You remember I spoke about this analysis. Yes or no? Yes or no? In UPSC, generally, what the students think is, listen to this carefully. In UPSC, what the students think is, this is everything. This is what is your belief, that I read more and more books, I will pass UPSC. This is not at all true. You have to read one book and repeatedly read it to analyze it. Then only you will pass UPSC. You don't have to read 100 books. Only one standard textbook, NCERT, class notes, that's all. But you have to read it so many times that you start analyzing it. When I say UPSC is basically a 3-staged preparation. UPSC is what? 3-staged preparation. Only the stage 1 is knowledge gaining. And how do you gain this knowledge? By attending classes and also reading a textbook. This is only the first stage. But 95% of you think this is the end of it. No. The real preparation starts from stage 2. This is where you start analyzing the knowledge that you get. And how do you analyze? By questioning. By questioning. By asking yourself, do I need to research on this? Why you are analyzing? Basically, you want to create an opinion, and to support this opinion, you need a database. And when you create this database, from this you will get questions in prelims. तुमको लगता है बुक में से आएगा? नहीं आएगा. What you analyze, from that analysis, you create an opinion. To support your argument, you create a database, and from that database, the prelims question will come. Say, for example, I'll take a small example. Poverty is a topic that is being covered to you in the class. Listen to this carefully. What is the topic? Poverty. Now, 1947, 1947 and 2024. How many years? 75, 76 years? 76 years of independence, and India is still a poverty. There is so much of poverty. Now, just see how analysis happens. It starts in the first place. What is, anyone? I'll give you 1,000 rupees if you can tell me what is poverty. See, we have multiple ideas of, that is the beauty. Till now, we could not define who is poor. Till now, so many economists have come because they say India is such a country that you cannot define who is poor. That's the biggest challenge. If you cannot define, how do you design to support? The biggest challenge here is identifying the rightful rightful beneficiary. If you identify rightful beneficiary, the governance structure to reach him, there is no check mechanism. We are not drawing inspiration from international best practices. This is the problem. The problem is your country is so vast, collecting correct data on any dimensions of economy takes minimum 3 to 4 years. And by the time you react depending on data, 3 4 years has passed. You are not probably targeting the right audience. See how the analysis is happening? When you start analyzing a topic like this is from where information you will get a question in prelims. You will not get a question from the classroom. Again, I am repeating this statement. It is very rare directly from a classroom a question will come. Understand? There was a question in this prelims only. Argentina is undergoing economic crisis. ये word था. Venezuela is coming out of economic crisis rapidly. He just used the word. It is not, people who did not read this, they committed a mistake. It is not rapid, it is gradual. So, if you analyze, that is when you can find faults here. Otherwise, you can't. Argentina, extreme economic crisis. It was not extreme, it has never been an extreme economic crisis. So, understand how you need to analyze a topic. Now, first stage is knowledge, second stage is analysis, and the third and the most difficult also and important stage is your communicating. Communicate. Two dimensions, one is written, the other is verbal. Written will immensely help you in mains, verbal will immensely help you in personality test. Now the beauty is analysis, the second stage, is dependent on the first stage, that is knowledge. When you don't have the knowledge, you can never analyze. And if you cannot analyze, you cannot communicate. And 90 to 95% of all of you will stop in the first stage only. Stop in the sense you would never be able to progress to second stage. So this is where the line is created, who will pass and who will fail. So the idea is to reach from here till here, from here till few people are naturally good in this. Few of you are naturally good in this by the virtue of socio-cultural, educational background. Few of you are naturally good at this. But this, in the absence of this, is nothing. So what becomes most important? Okay, every topic, every segment, you should have an analysis chart with you. Be it agriculture, poverty, unemployment, any dimension of history, polity, anything. So that is what every dimension of your learning boils down to. How are you able to analyze that particular issue or not? Say for example, I'll take 2 minutes. There is one topic called crude oil. What is the topic? इसकी एनालिसिस से एक क्वेश्चन आया. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. What is the question? Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. अगर इस वर्ड को you have not analyzed, you will never get the answer, because in UPSC you are not taught which country how many barrels of, right? So when you analyze this particular word, trust me, you will get minimum 20-25 side headings. Just one word. What is the word? Crude oil. That's all. Now remember, in UPSC, if it is directly visible to your eyes, that dimension, it will never come in the exam. He will go behind it and ask a question to you. Like yesterday in the newspaper, there was a news, no? Not yesterday, today only. NTA, National Testing Agency. ఒక్కదాని తర్వాత ఒక ఎగ్జామ్ లీక్ అవుతానే ఉంది, ఒక్కదాని ఒకటి పోతానే ఉంది. So yesterday the government decided to sack the NTA chief, that you are a useless fellow. It means governance deficit. The capacity to conduct an exam free and fair is also a governance function. And the government has brought a new law. What is the name of the law? Prevention of malpractices. Prevention of malpractices. ब्रैकेट में क्या है? సార్ న్యూస్ పేపర్ చదివే అలవాటు పొరపాటు రెండూ లేవు. The government has brought an act, Prevention of Malpractices Act 2024. You know what it said? You cannot imagine. The government is linking this with organized crime. See, a governance topic is getting linked with internal security topic. It says if a government person joining hands with some institute or a group of people or any person, and if they mastermind leaking of paper, then that act would be considered as an organized crime, and the minimum penalty 1 crores and minimum 10 years of jail. One more dimension. If the paper leak happened and the government has conducted the exam, whatever was the cost of the examination conducting, including fee to be paid to the invigilators, the printing cost, the transportation cost, the storage cost, everything will be borne by that institute. Imagine how governance is taking shape, that he is trying to connect it with internal security situation. They are not looking at it as a governance deficit. They are saying it is a law and order problem, and a serious law and order problem, internal security problem. So that is how things are moving up in the chain. You should be able to analyze. Or yes or no? So come out of that degree examination mindset कि 4 चैप्टर पढ़ा और रात में बैठ के पढ़ाई किया, अगले दिन सुबह जाके लिख के आ गया. You will never pass UPSC. So you have to start analyzing the content of UPSC. Very, very important. Just for your information, this was the cutoff last year. We'll have to wait for this year's cutoff to happen. Just a glimpse. This year prelims, this is how the questions came. One dimension I want you to read through or go through is this dimension: environment, ecology, geography, and within economy, a chapter on agriculture. Most favorite chapter of UPSC. Mains may be, prelims may be, interview may be. If there is only one chapter which is UPSC's most favorite, it is agriculture. And 6 to 7 questions came from agriculture. Assuming 7 into 2, 14, 14 plus 15, 29, 29 plus 18, into 2, right, into 2. What is the expected cutoff we are talking? 90 के आसपास. It means if I master geography, environment and agriculture, I would have passed prelims. समझ में आ रहा है कुछ? You apply your head. You have not read history, culture, polity, governance, general science, miscellaneous, so many things. Just why it is happening? Don't you see injustice to them, to these people? How will they survive in the market? Because earlier the forest service paper used to be held separately. Since recent times, they have clubbed the forest service prelims with UPSC civil services prelims. That is the reason why suddenly this has become important. And if you do not pay attention to this, when will you pass prelims? That is why these three, this is part of analysis, no? मैं क्या बोला? When till such time you do not analyze the UPSC paper, you will never pass UPSC examination. So you have to learn the art of analysis and don't tell anybody, because at the end of the day it is competition. This is also part of analysis, that you should not tell your competitor how to pass this examination. I have a moral responsibility, I'll tell. But if you devise some other methodology, don't tell. The one student of mine last year, he said, "Sir, I have cracked the code of putting all correct in reading comprehension." I asked him how. He said, "Sir, sorry sir." और इस बार लिख के आया, बोला सर आई गॉट ऑल करेक्ट, आई यूज दैट कोड. आई आज बोल दे यार बच्चों का भला हो जाएगा. बोला आफ्टर आई पास आई विल टेल. सी हाउ कॉम्पिटिटिव द स्पिरिट इज. दैट्स हाउ इट इज सपोज्ड टू बी आल्सो. ठीक है. This is how each and every subject, I have just done an analysis. Read through it for a minute. I'm sure it is clear. Self-explanatory है. The most easiest dimension was polity, and people committed mistake there also. बहुत easy आया paper, straight forward. And this is not my personal analysis. Hello. This is analysis of experts are sitting there. This is not my personal analysis. This is what they have written. क्या बोल रहा है? Which? That's why when we teach economy, we tell even if you miss NCERT economy, okay, no problem. Understand this. But whether he'll continue to maintain the same stand, I can't comment. Okay? Don't blame me if it doesn't. General science, moderate in difficulty, moderate to difficult environment, easier, IR, governance, schemes, military. This was a bouncer this time. It never happened in the history of UPSC. First time, few questions were asked on CDS pattern. Few questions were asked on which pattern? How the CDS examination is conducted. Rafale is which generation aircraft? MiG is which generation aircraft? So Tejas is which generation aircraft? If you do not know, you will not be able to write. So based on the changing patterns of UPSC examination, we also have to change the pattern of classes. So understand, because this is our analysis. If I do not change, I continue to teach the same way, will you not scold me? ఏం చెప్పేవరా చదువు ఒక్కటి రాలేదు. So we are also supposed to change. Okay? CSAT easier than last year, but definitely not a cakewalk. It was easier compared to last year, but it was not that easy that you can easily pass. Cut-off dilemma, as I told you, anywhere between 85 to 95 is what. Even if it is below 85, need not surprise, because what happens at times, easier paper also people flunk, they commit mistakes. This year paper prelims, if somebody is writing for the first time, he or she will better perform than the person who is repeating. Trust me, today morning one of my old students came, sir, 15 questions. First reading I put correct answer tick. When I was bubbling, I read it again. Yedo anpichindi, I changed the answer. 15 questions like this. So that's what dilemma comes in the examination hall. So revision. Reforms in UPSC, myth or a reality? It is a reality. But what reforms? When nobody knows. Till such time, whatever is the existing pattern, we'll prepare in that particular pattern only. Optional untunda, potunda, teliju. Unna information prakaranga povachu. But when we do not. Okay? Understand this. So no more questions on this dimension. Developing the inner competence. Very, very important. Please write this 6 of them. Very, very important. If you do not develop inner competence, it is very, very difficult. Motive, trait, self-image, social role. These 4 are very, very important. Motive, trait, self-image, and the social role. And trust me, this is difficult to learn. This is what? Difficult to learn. Up till here, this line, it is difficult. Up till this line, it is difficult. This is easy. In ethics, we'll talk about this iceberg's model of competency. Inner competency, you have to improve. You have to prove yourself to be a bureaucrat internally. Inner competence. What is your motive? What is the trait? Why and how we behave in a certain way? Positive, negative, when we get angry, all these inner competencies. Self-image, a person's sense of identity and worth. If you are a person, you yourself do not have a high self-image, obviously you will not do good to the society. So developing a good self-image is part of your preparation. And social role, attitudes and values projected to others. This is basically outer self, and this is basically inner self. So inner self-image and outer exterior image is also important. As I told you, these are difficult to change. So it will take time to find motive, take time to build a trait, take time to believe that inner image that I am a big person, and lastly the social role. And the skills and knowledge can be upgraded with little amount of effort. So when you try to build your capacity to pass this examination, you have to understand you should not restrict it to this. You have to come down also. Most of you think that only this is important. No, it is with this also. You have to change as a person you are. You have to become more balanced, more social oriented, more self control, more disciplined to yourself. So then only these skill sets will improve naturally. Otherwise, it won't happen. I tell in the counseling also, you cannot pass this examination with motivation. Understand why? Because generally motivation fluctuates. Motivation ఫ్లక్చువేట్స్. ఈరోజు మోటివేషన్ ఉంటుంది, రేపు ఉండకపోవచ్చు, ఎల్లుండి మళ్ళీ వస్తుంది. బట్ ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ హ్యాపన్ లైక్ దిస్. డిసిప్లిన్ ఈజ్ ఎ కన్సిస్టెంట్ పర్ఫార్మర్. ఇన్ ది సెన్స్, if you have decided a timetable of getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, whether you are motivated or not, you should get up at 5 a.m. If you have written a routine for yourself that today I am going to complete revision of Parliament chapter of Indian polity from Lakshmikant, come what may, in that time you should complete it. మూడు బాగాలేదు, ఒంట్లో బాగాలేదు, no, because that is part of motivation, and you are working on the principle of discipline and not motivation. If your health is really bad, yes, you can take a break, but do not take excuse of either slight variation in your health. That should not be the case. Okay, very very important. This 52 weeks in a year, 50 hours in a week is very very important. साल में 52 weeks होता है. Your target, including the classroom learning, you should be with the book for 50 hours in a week. How this happens, I'll tell you. See, generally we assume the sleep time to be 8 hours a day. We'll assume sleep time to be 8 hours a day. Other extracurricular activities 2 hours. So 10 hours gone. Class you will have 4 to 6 hours. So how many? 16 hours gone. If 16 hours gone, how many hours you have? 8 hours. 7 8s are 50 hours का target है. Achieve this. Trust me, nobody can stop you, and it is not easy. Hitting 8 hours every day the book is not an easy task. This is beyond classroom, because I have removed classroom separately. So if you can hit that 50 hours, 6 hours of what you call alterations here and there, it's okay. If you can hit that 50 hours, you have won the game. To understand how and why it is important to achieve this 50 hours. Classroom revision. See, write this down. When you are doing foundation, what is the priority? Priority 1, classroom revision. Whatever is being taught to you in the classroom, you will read that single day only. Classroom revision. The second priority would be, in the initial 3 months of preparation, NCRT reading. 3 months lopu NCRT complete avvali. NCRT reading. So this 2 hours and this 2 hours. After you take a break, the current affairs, basically the handouts that I will give you, daily handouts, will be given. You need not study the newspaper from day one. Even if you study, I am sure you will not understand. So this newspaper reading in the handouts is also very very important. And lastly, if time permits, after that you go to standard textbooks or the study material given by the institute. So this is how you have to divide time. Now listen to this carefully. From 1st July or 2nd July, your optionals will start. Suresha, 1st July onwards, your optionals will start. when the optional start, you have a class at 7 a.m. in the morning, and if you have to sleep minimum 8 hours, assuming you will take an hour to get ready and travel if at all you're staying at a distance, so 6 o'clock you have to leave your home, and if you have to sleep minimum 8 hours, minimum 10 p.m. should be your lights off. Should be your lights off in the room, so that you can get up at 5:30 or so, 7:30 hours of sleep, half an hour getting fresh, and 1 hour of travel time. This will happen only if you are disciplined. Motivation का कोई रोल ही नहीं है. This will happen only if you are disciplined. Otherwise, it will never happen. You will find excuses. So the sleeping time is very important. I tell this in the class. I think in some interview also I have told this. Be away from 4 C's and 1 P. 4 C's and 1 P. Which are these 4 C's? Cricket, celebrity, cinema, and crime. Please be away from this when you are preparing for any examination. This is your Vedic learning also. This is not something new. This is Vedic learning also. It says, as a student, you are supposed to display certain traits. You know, Kakchestam, Baku Dhyanam, Swan Nidra, Alpahari, and Grihatyagi. These are the 5 qualities of a student. Kakchestam, behave like a crow when you are seeking knowledge. Wherever you get knowledge, you have to seek knowledge. Baku Dhyanam, the way Bagula stands on one leg and concentratedly waits for the fish to come near, you have to have your display that level of concentration in the classroom. Swan Nidra, you cannot go in deep slumber. If you go in deep slumber, the memory will get erased from your subconscious mind. చాలా మంది చెప్తారు, సార్ రాత్రి చదివింది పొద్దున గుర్తుండట్లేదు, బిర్యానీ పీకల దాకా తిని పడుకుంటే అలాగే ఉంటుంది. సో యూ శ్వాన్ నిద్ర ఇస్ జనరలీ a dog. If you see, swan is a dog. Slightest of the noise, the dog will become alert. So you should sleep like a dog and not like a pig. Okay? Alpahari, eat less. And Grihatyagi, you have to come out of your house so that you learn the art of living in the outside world. These are the 5 qualities of a student in the Vedic literature. So in the modern contemporary times, we say stay away from these 4 C's and 1 P. This P is politics, because these 5 dimensions have the quality of eating away your time unknowingly. Eating away your time unknowingly. So that is the reason why it is advised to stay away from these 4 C's and 1 P. Is there anybody who says, I am not a victim of either of them? Be true. Sir, అసలు మేము ఈ 5 దేనికి మేము విక్టిమ్స్ కాదు అని చెప్పేవాడు ఎవడైనా ఉన్నాడు? It means some or the other way, we all are victims of these vices, and as a student, you cannot afford to. Primarily because it will eat away your time. Very, very important. On the day of end of your coaching, you should be able to do this. Please write. So this is the target in foundation. What you would be targeting in foundation? Clarity of concepts. నాకు ఫౌండేషన్ కంప్లీట్ అయ్యే ముందు అన్ని కాన్సెప్ట్స్ క్లియర్గా అర్థం అవ్వాలి. ఎస్, గుడ్. సరే, I will explain, Gopal, don't worry. Second is comprehending a current affairs article. ఒక కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ఆర్టికల్ చదివితే ఆ ఆర్టికల్ మెసేజ్ ఏంటో మీకు అర్థం అవ్వాలి. కాంప్రిహెండింగ్ ది ఆర్టికల్. Ability to identify the right source for a book or a topic. You should be able to identify the correct source of it. Then right process of learning. Very, very important. What is the right process of learning? Not knowledge based, but what? Analysis based process of learning. This you should have learnt. Linking of article with the syllabus, very, very important. Whenever you read any article in the newspaper, you should have the capacity to know about this article in my syllabus where it is written. When I use the word syllabus anywhere, it is మెయిన్స్ సిలబస్. ప్రిలిమ్స్కి అసలు సిలబస్సే లేదు. వాడు భూమి మీద ఏమైనా అడగచ్చు. భూమి మీద అంటే ఆకాశం మీద కూడా ఏమైనా అడుగుతాడు వాడికి ఇష్టం. బికాజ్ ఇట్ డి నాట్ స్పెసిఫై ఎనీ సిలబస్. ఏదో ఒక మాట వరుసకు ఒక లైన్ ఇస్తాడు అంతే. బేసిక్ స్ట్రక్చరింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఏ ఆన్సర్ యూ షుడ్ డెవలప్ ఇన్ ది ప్రిలిమ్స్, ఇన్ ది ఫౌండేషన్ స్టేజ్ ఓన్లీ. బేసిక్ స్ట్రక్చరింగ్. అండ్ లాస్ట్ బట్ నాట్ ద లీస్ట్ ఈజ్ PYQ analysis. Now, what is this PYQ analysis? What is this PYQ analysis? Say for example, I will assume that all of you are preparing for, I will assume that all of you are preparing for 2025. All of you are preparing for 2025. Assume. Now that you have seen the prelims 2024 paper, and assuming you have seen the 2023 paper, it means there is a change in the paper. If I say 2023 is known to be extremely difficult paper and 2024 is known to be moderate difficulty paper, yes or no? Can you make a guess what could be 2025 paper? What could be the 2025 paper? One thing I'll tell you, with UPSC you can never guess. Understand this. One is common. Understand this very well now itself. Always pray that the paper should come tough. Prelims. Always pray that the paper should come tough and you prepare for it. Why? Because if the paper comes easy, casual attempters will have an advantage. Because if you are seriously preparing, you try to find fault in a sentence and you will commit a mistake, and a casual person will be at an advantage. So never ever in UPSC journey pray for anything easy. Always pray for tough. దేవుడా పేపర్ ఎంత టఫ్ రావాలంటే నేను తప్పితే ఎవరు సాల్వ్ చేయలేకపో. Competitive world, no? You have to ask like that only. Now, how do you do the analysis is basically, for example, I'll show you in the one of the classes. Every year from agriculture, minimum 5 to 8 questions he is asked. 5 to 8. So minimum 10 to 16 questions he is asked. What does it mean? If I prepare this chapter well, I am guaranteed, even if I lose 2 questions, 14 marks. Now, believe me, entire agriculture in UPSC spectrum can be brought down to 100 pages. Can you not read 100 pages for 14 marks? Understanding? But the problem is here. Though it is a topic of economy, agriculture is primarily an economic topic. It has got cross-sectional linkages. You will find this in geography. You will find this in environment ecology. You will find this in science and technology. You will find this in current. So everything you have to link. When he is talking about nano urea, it is primarily an agricultural topic, primarily, but nano urea is can be connected to anything. So understand, PYQ analysis will help you to understand the cross linkages from where he is asking a particular question. इस बार इस सवाल आया था, farming equipment is what kind of capital? Is it a fixed capital or a working capital? It is a fixed capital. Only a commerce student will understand. Because in commerce, in economy, it is taught. If you remember the B8 students, I have told you, Shankar Ganesh Karupaiya concepts की किताब को पक्का पढ़ना in economy. First chapter, third page, he gave a table. What is what is what is what. So understand what he is doing. A geography question he is asking in economic dimension, an economic question he is asking in geographic dimension. So he is creating interlinkages, and in the analysis you have to do this cross linkages. If you see the analysis from parliament, 100% there will be a question. No question paper will end without this name. 3 to 4 places RBI naam hoga, and for that you need to go to RBI, you need to go to FAQs and just see it once in a while casually. You will get so much of information. So understand, the PYQ analysis does not mean you solve previous year questions. It is the most foolish way of approaching PYQ. You have to analyze the paper. Why in 2022 he asked a question like this? Very recently in one of my current affairs classes, I spoke about one region in Africa called a group of countries in the north of Africa is called Sahel region. It was in news. I made the students write the names of all the countries. I said a question can be asked east to west or west to east. Arrange them. A question can be asked what is happening there. And the question came, what is happening there? And I gave them homework to write about it beyond the classroom learning. One or two people did. They did that question correctly. Those who did not do, they did not do this. UPSC beauty ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ప్రిలిమ్స్లో mostly all the topics would be known to you, but the answer won't be known to you. All the questions will be known to you. It is only the answer that won't be known to you. Not even a single question, promise me. Not even a single question you will come out saying, I never heard about this question. No. There was one question, which of the following belong to P family? PEA, P family. उसमें एक ऑप्शन था सोयाबीन. इट इज సో క్లియర్ ఈజ్ అ బీన్ ఫ్యామిలీ. ఇంక ఇది కూడా తెలియకపోతే ఇంక నేను స్కూల్ కూర్చోబెట్టి పల్కా బల్పం పట్టుకొని హరే రామ హరే కృష్ణ రాయించాలి. ఇఫ్ యు నో దిస్ యూ కెన్ కమ్ టు ది ఆన్సర్. ఏదేదో పెట్టి వచ్చారు. సో అండర్స్టాండ్, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ అనలైజింగ్, సి understand this one thing I am telling you. He is testing your IQ, not knowledge. Again and again I tell my students, he is only touching your IQ. We'd burra. See, same paper, if I tell you take home, write the answer, attempt the paper and come back, all of you will get 120. But if I give you the same paper in examination setting, you will struggle for 70. Why that 50 mark variation is coming? The exam stress. That is the reason why seriously sitting in the weekend test, writing the weekend test is important. It is important because it will give you that exposure to exam. कभी AC काम नहीं करेगा, कभी fan काम नहीं करेगा, कभी light नहीं होगा, table will be shaking. One of my students literally he said, sir, చెప్పులు కింద పెట్టి టేబుల్ నాపి రాసుకున్నాను ఎగ్జామ్. ఇట్ వాస్ షేకింగ్ త్రూ అవుట్. వాట్ టు డూ? సో యూ నీడ్ టు బి ప్రిపేర్డ్ ఫర్ దట్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ హాల్ సెట్టింగ్. దట్స్ ది ఐడియా. Yeah, I strongly believe in this and I will not commit this mistake. And what is this mistake? Over coaching is the worst thing you can do to a player, because you will kill his natural ability to do something. So my aim is not to over coach you. My aim is to train you. I'll train you well, but over coaching don't come to me. ఒకడు వచ్చాడు నిన్నగాక మొన్న, సార్ మీరు అన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్కి ఆన్సర్ రాసి ఇచ్చేస్తే మా అబ్బాయి చదువుకొని ఎగ్జామ్ పాస్ అయిపోతాడు సార్. వానికి ఎందుకు ఇవ్వాలి అన్నది? దిస్ ఈజ్ ది గ్రూప్స్ ఎగ్జామ్ అప్రోచ్. గ్రూప్స్లో ఇలాగే జరుగుతుంది, బికాస్ జనరలీ ది క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్ repetitive in nature. But if it is not repetitive in nature, it won't work. If I give you 200 questions in polity and give you model answers also for those 200 questions, if it changes the dimension of the question, gaya. I asked today one of the mentorship students, discuss why after the later Vedic period the position of women deteriorated in the society. So she wrote everything. During the Vedic period, women had a choice to study, marry, remarry, unmarry, whatever marry, she wrote. And post-Vedic period, no marriage, whatever she wrote. I said, you fool, I asked, discuss why. She forgot why. అండ్ రాసి సార్ చూడండి సార్ ఎంత బాగా రాశాను, చక్కగా రాశాను. నేను కూడా చక్కగా పెన్ను దింపాను. సార్ అలా చేయలేరు సార్ మీరు. చేయలేనమ్మా, కరెక్ట్. వై? ఐ ఆస్క్డ్ యూ వై. యూ గివ్ మీ వన్ రీజన్ out of your knowledge. Why the position of women became deteriorated? అది ముందు కూడా ఉందిగా. Ever since the women started begetting a child, the primary responsibility of caretaking of child was always women. Even now also, contemporary times also, at least for 6 months, it is women only. Father can't do much. Yes. Why the position of women deteriorated? What could be the reason? Is it social reason? Is it political reason? Or is it economic reason? No, it is visible as a social reason, but the reason is economic. Okay? Understand this. Till such time you do not analyze that dimension. You know through knowledge that post later Vedic period the position of women deteriorated. I asked you why, and you wrote what? I never asked you what. I am again making the statement. UPSC will never ask what. It will always ask why. Basic question: why India chose democracy? Why India chose parliamentary form of governance? India was never supposed to be a democratic country, but we became democratic country. You became a parliamentary democracy. Why? Gandhiji wanted Swaraj, no? Gram Swaraj, no? That village should be the center of development. But is today village the center of development? Zero development. That's why migration is happening. It means we have not lived up to the expectations of the father of the nation. That's why it is your constitution has a blame. The Indian constitution by some critics is known to be un-Gandhian in its orientation. Just imagine, you have gone against the spirit of your own father of the nation. I was saying, so you need to critically analyze any topic that you are reading. Don't read like fools. Let the fools read like fools. One girl came to me, సార్ క్లాస్లో కన్నా యూట్యూబ్ చూస్తే బాగా అర్థమవుతుంది సార్. క్లాస్లో కన్నా యూట్యూబ్ చూస్తే బాగా అర్థమవుతుంది సార్. యూట్యూబే చూడు అని చెప్పు. క్లాస్లో ఎందుకు ఉండాలి అప్పుడు? వీలైతే నువ్వు కూడా 2-3 పెట్టు అని. సి, I told you, the class is meant to force you to think. If you depend on YouTube for everything to teach you, you will take 10 years to pass this exam, because everything has to be taught to you. You are not learning anything. If you don't learn things and everything has to be taught to you, then it will take more time. Understand? If see, YouTube law, there is no time restriction. Here the faculty is given a timed schedule he has to clear. So he is at a pace. You get a doubt, you ask. But at the same time, like I also ask you to think. I force you to think, I don't ask. Because if you don't develop the capacity to think by yourself, then how you are a good leader? If somebody comes to you, sir, is the problem in the tomorrow you become an IAS officer, will you suggest him go and watch YouTube, you will get answer? You have to give him an answer. No? Understand how difficult at times it becomes. How difficult at times it becomes. And you're dealing with life. You're dealing with lives. Your decision, your spontaneous decision can create havoc in somebody's life forever. Today I gave one of the questions to my mentorship students. Mentorship student means after foundation. Okay? I asked him to write a question. Do you think time has come to remove the Armed Forces Special Power Act from the disturbed areas? Give your arguments in support of your state. Where will you get the answer to this? Nowhere. You will only have to process in your mind. If I remove the army from a disturbed area, maybe there is a possibility that the insurgents who are operating there, they will again gather courage. Maybe the instances of law and order violation will increase. Maybe the cross-border terrorism will increase. So now to address this issue, how the law enforcement agency other than army has to be strengthened, how your security architecture has to be improved, how your intelligence architecture has to be improved, how the civic action program has to be improved. ये सब चीजें तुमको सोचना है. Because see, you will not become a changed person the moment you become an IAS officer. No, you will become an IAS officer only when you start thinking like one. ऐसा नहीं है कि रिजल्ट వచ్చిన రోజు నువ్వు ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ అయిపోతావు. It will not happen. You have to start thinking in the journey of UPSC, behaving like that in the journey of UPSC. Then only you will. Yesterday one student came to me, sir, అస్సలు అర్థం కావట్లేదు సార్, టెన్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. I asked, what is your routine? He said XYZ. I told, in this routine, I don't see workout anywhere. I don't see your timely sleeping anywhere. Obviously, the stress will build up. You have to work out for 40 minutes in a day, in the morning or in the evening. Otherwise, you will develop health problems which will haunt you for the rest of your life. Of 40 minutes, it could be in the room itself, on the bed only, do some yoga asanas, I have no problem. But you have to sweat once in a day. Those 40 minutes you have to sweat. You go for a walk, go for a jog, do some jumping jacks sitting in the room, I have no problem. But you have to work out for 40 minutes. If you don't, I am telling you, you will not realize now, 6-7 months down the line, sir, I want 1 month break, I am not working. So you have to work out. So understand, this is all part of preparation only. So in life also, you will have problems like this. Please do not use YouTube. If you don't understand anything in the class, have the courage to ask the faculty in the classroom only. If not after the classroom, clear your doubt. If not after the classroom, during the mentorship schedules, clear the doubt. Talk to your mentor regularly. Very, very important. Come to me if nobody is listening to you. You can always come to me. Refer a standard textbook or NCERT to clear the doubt. And refer to a government or a standard website. But YouTube is not a choice. Please do not fall back to YouTube. Most important glaring mistakes. Most important mistake. ఎన్నిసార్లు చెప్పినా ఇది జరుగుతుంది. హరీడ్ ప్రిపరేషన్. గిరీష, వాట్ ఈస్ ది మిస్టేక్? హరీడ్ ప్రిపరేషన్. ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ అయిపోవాలి, ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్లో అయిపోవాలి, ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంక్ వచ్చేయాలి. మీరందరు మూర్ఖులు. మరి ఓ అబ్బాయి ఒక్కడే స్మార్ట్. ఇన్కన్సిస్టెన్సీ ఇన్ ప్రిపరేషన్ ఉండకూడదు. ఇన్కన్సిస్టెన్సీ అంటే in a month you will generally have 20 to 22 days of classes. One odd day it's okay, but try to maintain maximum attendance in the class. మూడు బాగాలేకపోయినా సరే, ఒంట్లో బాగాలేకపోయినా సరే, don't write, but just come and sit in the class. It will keep you connected to the topic which is going on. Otherwise you will miss the link. Once the link is missed, it is very difficult to come back. So do not commit that mistake. And consistency in preparation is, for example, we had that 8 hours wala day, 8 hours per day. For example, 2 days you know well in advance that next 2 days I am getting committed, I won't be able to study. Increase your pace 2 days before only to cover that gap. So that is called consistency in preparation. And after 2 days gap, when you come, increase that after 2 days also a little to cover that 16 hours gap. So this will maintain consistency in your preparation. Okay? Very, very important. People, sir, చాలా ప్రెషర్ ఉంది పేరెంట్స్ దగ్గర నుంచి రాయడానికి. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ప్రిపేర్డ్, బట్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ఎ జనరల్ కేటగిరీ స్టూడెంట్, యూ విల్ నాట్ రైట్ ది ఎగ్జామ్ if you feel you are not prepared. A reservation student, because of the virtue of more number of attempts, can take that risk, but general category student should never ever commit this mistake of writing when unprepared. Okay, mugging up the data, it చేసుకుంటూ పోతే 12 సంవత్సరాలు పడుతుంది. So there is no end to mugging up the data. And comparing your preparation, this is also one of the glaring mistakes that the students do. Never ever compare your preparation. You have your own economic background, educational background, you have your own competency levels, so improve that, and over a period of time you will see the improvement. Especially kotta batch pillalu, when the batch starts, you will generally find few students answering all the questions or few of the questions. Never get disturbed or afraid because of it. It may be he or she has come prepared, or maybe he or she is well acquainted by the virtue of his socio-cultural background. It is only a matter of 4.5 months that you will also be able to match his level. So do not compare yourself. నాకు ఏమీ రాదు సార్, నేను ఈ సంవత్సరం మొత్తం ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యి మళ్ళీ వస్తాను. మొత్తం ప్రిపేర్ అయితే నా దగ్గర ఎందుకు వస్తావు మళ్ళీ? No need, right? So understand this. There is no need for any self preparation. If you have done, it is okay. If you have not, it is only that you may take 3-4 months extra than others. That's all. Okay? If you get into the research methodology, you will become a teacher like me, but you will not pass this exam. Are you studying to become a teacher or an IAS officer? IAS officer. So do not do any research. Research is only meant for optional subject. Optional subject lo nu enta research chesina takku. But in general studies, you don't have to do much research. Understand this. Then how do you know that the limit that I have to stop? Anyone? How do you know? Where do you have to stop? Primarily when you see the PYQ, you will understand what standard questions are being asked. And if you feel your research is going beyond the PYQ, then you are doing a mistake. See, generally what happens is, ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ ఏదో ఒకటో రెండో సబ్జెక్టులు మనకు నచ్చుతాయి. Natural inclination, positivity towards those subjects. We tend to overkill those subjects. Never ever commit this mistake. And I'll tell you in advance which that subject will naturally be. It is politics. It is polity. Don't overkill that subject unless and until you are a student of PSI. Please write, these points are important. Subject wise strategy undali, mains oriented preparation undali. Susan Joyce, no. All the subjects are not taught in YouTube. Most of you will not do this. I am telling you, I also did not do this. And this subject was, when I was a student, I never liked this subject. But when I became a faculty, I started loving this subject. You should have a strategy for every subject because every subject demands a different approach. Okay? Make small groups and study. 3 4 3 4, not 10 of you. 3 4 3 4 groups, max 5, not more than 5. Groups bana ke padho. And make a group in such a way that each person has a proper strength and weakness so that he can balance the strength and weakness of that particular group. 3 4 3 4. 4 is good. 5 okay, but not beyond 5. 3 4 3 4 ka group one. Have group targets. Okay, today let's study these 3 chapters. We'll revise these chapters in the evening. So that creates competition within the groups. మీరు గ్రూప్లో డిస్కషన్ చేసుకున్నది ఎప్పటికీ మర్చిపోరు. మీరు చదివింది మర్చిపోవచ్చు, క్లాస్లో విన్నది మర్చిపోవచ్చు, బట్ గ్రూప్ డిస్కషన్ చేసుకున్నది ఎప్పటికీ మర్చిపోరు. అర్థం చేసుకో, రిమెంబర్ దట్. Girls face a particular challenge and boys face a particular challenge. Boys face this challenge the most, distractions, and girls face the performance anxiety the most because they get few number of years to prove themselves, and boys have lot of distractions. They get into lot of distractions, many dimensions of distractions, and girls generally have this performance anxiety because they tend to be too emotional. It is genetic making, you can't do anything about it. They tend to be too emotional. If the parents are struggling to support their preparation, they take the burden on themselves that I have to do it faster. So that thought, repetitive thought that I have to do it faster, creates a stressful thought process. So that creates a performance anxiety. So never become a victim of this, especially girls. Take it, Sirisha. Huh? Good. This is the duration. This is regular. I would have spoken about all of this with you in the initial counseling itself. Just a reading, a minute, take a minute to read. I told you initially also, weekly test every Saturday. Take this test seriously. If you want to pass in the first attempt, try to perform best in the weekly test. If you are not able to perform on the Saturday, why, where the problem happened, uska analysis immediately karo. Despite I studying this topic, why was I not able to write? Despite I knowing everything, why I committed this mistake? The analysis has to be done by your own self. Okay? That's very important. This is very important. I wanted to talk about this with all of you. See, at times you will have 3 classes of GS in a day, in a week, and at times you will have 2 classes in a week, and at times you have 1 class in a week. Because I know when to increase the pace, when to reduce the pace. You do not come and fight with me, sir. Last week we had 3, why only 1? If I feel you had 3 classes in a week I need to give you time also to revise. Yes or no? So because if you are having 3 classes means 6 hours and 2.5 hours of what you call optional classes, 8 hours. 8 hours revision takes lot of time. 8 hour class revision will take lot of time. So generally, if you have 3 classes in a week, 3 GS classes, generally the coming week will have only one class, primarily to give you time to revise of the previous week also. That is the intention. So whatever I will do with you with respect to UPSC preparation, it is primarily meant for your good only. So do not question my thought process there. I will not do anything which is not good for your success, and I will not do anything which is again not good for your success. Okay? So I will create a natural leader out of you in the process. So just follow the instructions, be committed to the instructions. You feel problem anywhere, you ask, I'll take care of all the problems. Okay? Anybody wants to ask any question, you can ask. I have few questions in the online, but you can ask. జాబ్ చేస్తున్న వాళ్ళకి how to management of time. See, not only the students who are doing some job somewhere, the other students also need to learn the art of what you call time management. I'll speak about this. See, people who are working, maybe some of you are sitting here also, understand this. If you are working, you need to say, I will assume that your work timing is 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. It means at max you can spare 2 hours in the morning and maybe 3 to 4 hours in the evening. If collectively also, if you can spare 4 hours in a day, it is more than enough. It is more than enough. And if you have taken admission, online students who are wanting to do, if they have taken foundation admission somewhere, use this weekly 4 hours to complete your daily notes. Complete your daily notes and use Saturday and Sunday to do maximum analysis and your notes updation or NCRT reading has to be done in the weekend, and you can write a test maybe on Monday morning after doing this analysis. So you need to follow this and divide your time 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. And for some reason, if you are not able to give this on any given day, don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed. You can cover this in the weekend. Okay? Anybody having any other doubts, they can ask. I will answer. We'll address the question for 5-7 minutes. Then we can break the class. बोलो. Please tell. Is it raining outside heavily? When to start the? It will happen only after foundation. Before foundation, it won't happen. Only after foundation. It's a time-consuming process. It will take time. Okay? See, understand, in UPSC, never ever any question in the past has been asked which is a direct question. It is always interpretative. The question in UPSC is always interlinking. Mains की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. Interlinking and interpretative. Very, very important. You take out the GS paper 2 last year. Read the first question. Take out if you have a mobile. We'll come to know how interpretative it is or how interlinking it is. Just read the first question. Any paper, GS paper 2, last year, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 2 follow. GS paper 2, open. Just read the first question. I told you the question will be simple, but the answer will be difficult. Read the question. 2020 3 GS paper 2 UPSC and got 20. What is the question? What does it read? Discuss the possible factors that inhibit India. Inhibit का मतलब क्या है? Inhibit का मीनिंग क्या है? Exhibit, right? Restricting, ठीक है? Inhibit India from enacting for its citizens a uniform civil code as provided in the DPS. What is this uniform civil code? What is this uniform civil code? What is this uniform civil code? Simple. Uniform civil code. We know that we have a uniform criminal code. If I murder someone, same punishment. If she murders someone, same punishment. It means in by nature the criminal code is uniform. Are we using the word uniform criminal code? No. Because the law construes each and everybody to be equal in the eyes of law. That is why that black bandage, no? That everybody is equal in front of the law. It is not that the law is blind to everything. No. It does not want to distinguish between two set of individuals, right? That is the reason why uniform criminal code. But when it comes to civil code, and in this civil code also related to topics, dimensions related to marriage, dimensions related to adoption, dimension related to divorce, dimensions related to inheritance. This has, if you see this, it has somewhere cultural impression. Yes or no? It has cultural impressions. So he is asking, what are the factors that is inhibiting India from giving its citizens a uniform civil code? It is very simple. The answer is cultural. Now, is culture part of politics? No, it is part of history. Yes or no? Without knowing what is this cultural impression, can you write the answer to this? Question किस में आया? Polity में आया. But your answer cannot be culture heavy. Your answer has to be polity heavy. But to write a polity heavy answer, but you should know the cultural impression. Without knowing the cultural impression, how can you write? Because in Hindu Marriage Act, marriage is a sacred sacrament. It is a sacrament. In Islamic law, it is a pure contract. There is no sacrament. And if you do not know this, you will not be able to write this answer. In certain, if I religious conversion is also a factor of this thing. In Judaism, Jew, you cannot convert to Judaism. You should be born as a Jew, and you have Jews in your country. And if you tell no, you can convert to Jew, it will be against his cultural impression. He will say, sorry, you cannot be a Jew by conversion. And the rules are so strict. If you are a Jew boy, if you marry a Jew girl, you lose all the inheritance right on your father's property naturally. Your father don't have to go to court also. That is the law. That is the cultural law. So that is how the cultural impressions are stopping you from having a uniform civil code. Generally, the moment uniform civil code to a common man walking on the street, you feel it is a Hindu-Muslim rivalry. He or she feels uniform civil code is a Hindu-Muslim rivalry. It has got nothing to do with this. It is basically cultural. In Hinduism, you generally cremate somebody. Cremation means burning somebody after their death. In Islam, it is burial. If you do not know why in Islam it is burial, then you are no good a bureaucrat. Why there is burial in Islam? Because Islam was born in a place where it is desert. Where will you get the wood from? Obviously. So Islam was born in a place where the temperatures are 50 to 53. If you drink in that temperature, you will die. So cultural landscape, liquor is strictly prohibited in Islam. Not because atheism, no. It is basically geographical factor. Why in Islam 4 marriages are allowed? Because at the time when Islam as a religion was born, during Prophet Muhammad's time, Islam was basically spreading across the globe. And men were going to fight battles across the globe to win more lands where Islam could be spread. And out of 10 people going, 8 were not coming back only. So the population of women was increasing at home. What will happen to them if they don't get husbands? They will have to marry one, two women will marry one man. That is how in Islam 4 women marriage is allowed. But in the present context, that cannot be applied. So you need to know the history to know the reason. So that is where understand the interlinking of the subject is very, very important. So why I am saying it will take time is history has to be taught to you. Knowledge is over. You have to sit and analyze. It will take another few more months time. Then you should learn the art of communicating, both written and verbal. It will take time. Okay. So come out of that mindset कि मेरा first attempt to first year and first rank नहीं होगा. It is not possible. Try to understand. Okay. Why? Because it takes time for you to learn things in a required way. Okay. I hope I have addressed you. Any other question? Sir, I need mathematics optional coaching from your institute. I don't teach maths as of now. Very soon I'll come to you on this. Huh. Any other questions to the audience sitting in the classroom? पूछो यार, we have 5 minutes time. पूछो. No questions. You understood everything or nothing? I think it is nothing only. Tomorrow, how many of you are coming back for the topper's talk? Place will be a crunch. Jaldi आओ. Okay? Come a little early. Place will be a big crunch tomorrow. First come, first serve. Don't come tonight and sleep here. Hello. Not allowed. You have to come tomorrow only. No questions? Shall we break off? So, tomorrow, overall. तुम्हारा फर्स्ट वीक थोड़ा staggered टाइमिंग रहेगा. नेक्स्ट वीक ऑनवर्ड्स इट इज एन आफ्टरनून बैच. Yours is an afternoon batch. Morning you will have your optional. Immediately after that you will have a gap. Then post lunch your sessions will start. Okay? June is a afternoon. Okay? But I think the schedule has been posted in the Telegram group. Just check. If it has not been posted, you will get it posted by tomorrow. Okay? The tomorrow you only have this morning time is for the what do you call optional interactions with the faculty, one-to-one interaction. Mentorships will happen. 2 o'clock onwards, 2 to 5 you have the topper's talk with Dharani. Tomorrow she is coming. And from next day onwards you have your orientations for a week. I think first day Anusha ma'am is taking SNT, Science and Technology. Science and Technology is very, very important for UPSC. See, UPSC లో ఒకటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, GS పేపర్ 3 అనే పేపర్ చాలా డిఫికల్ట్ పేపర్. ఇన్ ది సెన్స్, if you see the mark sheet of the topper of this year also, you will understand why he scored so less. In the GS paper 3 he got the least. Even the topper is getting less marks in GS paper 3. The reason for GS paper 3 being difficult is all the topics in that paper are current affairs based, starting from economy to agriculture to disaster management to internal security, and all are current affairs based. So that is why this paper is very difficult. So SNT, especially those who are from non-science background, those who are from arts background, from day one get control on this. And for the non-science background students, NCRT science books are a must. Are a must. For BTech and all, you can skip NCRT. But for non-science background students, science NCRTs is also a must. अरे समझ में आ रहा है? We will hold few science का basic blood groups and all those classes for you. Don't worry. I'll get them held for you. Okay? Let's break off for today. That's enough for today. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the online students as well.